Making headlines. The President extends Independence Day greetings to the President of the Dominican Republic. The President congratulates the women's national basketball team on winning their first silver medal. And Housing Minister announces that only 1,820 applicants have been found to have been eligible for flats under Gedoruveria scheme.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English. I'm your host Ahmad Imad and I'll be continuing with the details for the latest stories. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz extends his congratulations to President Luis Rodolfo Abinader Corona of the Dominican Republic, expressing his wishes for the continued progress and prosperity of the Dominican people. This message was conveyed to honor the Dominican Republic's Independence Day. In his message, President Dr. Muiz expressed the greetings and best wishes of the government and the people of the Maldives to President Abinader Corona, his administration and the Dominican people, underscoring the Maldives' recognition of this significant historical milestone. Additionally, President Dr. Muiz offered his personal best wishes for President Abinader Corona's health and happiness, accompanied by hopes for the continued advancement and prosperity of the Dominican nation. The Dominican Republic celebrates its independence, which was secured in 1844. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz congratulates the women's national basketball team on winning their first silver medal at the 3rd Sabah Women's Basketball Championship 2025, organized by the South Asia Basketball Association, Sabah. In a message on his official X account, the President praised the team's outstanding performance in the final against India. India secured gold over the Maldives with a score of 107-32 during the final match held in New Delhi, India on 26 February. This silver medal is a historic first for the Maldivian women's national basketball team, who previously secured bronze medals in 2016 and 2022. Vice President Hussein Mohamed Latif also congratulated the team, praising their passion, dedication and hard work, which he said have made the entire nation proud, setting a remarkable example for young girls across the country. Minister of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Abdullah Muttalib announces that only 1,820 applicants have been found to have been eligible for the social housing flats under the previous government's Gedoruveria housing scheme. The former administration, led by the Maldivian Democratic Party (MDP), initiated the development of 4,000 flats in Hulu Male under the scheme. However, the project remained incomplete at the end of the term. Ahead of the conclusion of then-President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih's term, the government released a final list of flat recipients. However, after a case was filed regarding the list, the Anti-Corruption Commission (ACC) revealed that only 20% of the listed recipients met eligibility criteria. The discovery by the ACC had forced the current administration to conduct a thorough review of the recipients list. Minister Muttalib told reporters on Thursday that the government had only evaluated and verified the credibility and eligibility of recipients on the list gazetted on 15 November 2023. The then government announced that all who scored 76 points would get the 3-bedroom flats, while the remaining recipients would be put to a draw, according to the minister. However, he noted that the list includes 3,721 people who had scored above 75 points, while only 2,750 3-bedroom flats are under construction. According to the minister, the then government had also announced that all who scored 73 points would be eligible for the 2-bedroom flats under the scheme. There are 1,218 people on the list with that amount of points, he added. However, Minister Muttalib pointed out that as 1,250 2-bedroom flats are under construction, the list that was reviewed and verified had a total of 4,930 people. After the thorough review and verification, the minister said that out of 3,721 people on the three-bedroom list, only 1,423 people had scored 75 points and above. Out of 1,218 people on the two-bedroom list, 397 people were found to be eligible with at least 73 points. Minister Muttalib also revealed that applications with less than 75 points from the three-bedroom list and applicants who scored less than 73 points from the two-bedroom list were not reviewed and deemed ineligible for the flats. The minister insisted that the government had only verified the authenticity of the documents and applications submitted through the online portal and assured complete transparency throughout the whole process. Any complaints about the reviewed flat list, which has now been published, can be submitted to the ministry by letter or by email. Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim states that the National Mental Health Strategic Action Plan 2025 to 2029 will ensure accessible mental health services to all citizens. The minister made the remark while speaking at a ceremony held to launch the 5-year National Mental Health Strategic Action Plan for 2025 to 2029.
The 5-year National Mental Health Strategic Action Plan 2025 to 2029 was launched by the First Lady, Madam Sajida Mohammed. The National Mental Health Strategic Action Plan serves as a roadmap to further strengthen the country's mental health system while promoting mental health by strengthening mental health services and expanding treatment options. Speaking at the launch, Minister Nazim said that the roadmap describes in detail the work that needs to be done in the mental health sector. He expressed confidence that if the plan is implemented properly, the mental health system will be further strengthened and developed. The minister further stated that a modern healthcare system is incomplete without adequate mental health services. He noted that President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's policies give high priority to mental health. He went on to state that the government has made great strides in enhancing the mental health system, including the launch of a national helpline for mental health emergencies. He said that the newly inaugurated action plan symbolizes the importance of promoting mental health as an integral part of wellness. Announcing plans to establish a dedicated center for mental health with the assistance of the Indian government, the minister said preparations are already underway. He added that the services will also be expanded to the atolls. Acknowledging the World Health Organization, the United Nations Children's Fund, and the Australian government's assistance in formulating the National Mental Health Strategic Action Plan, the minister further noted the guidance and commitment extended by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu to strengthen the health sector.
Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare Dr. Mariam Maria conducts an assessment of local agricultural products at the Malé Produce Market. During the visit, she engaged in in-depth discussions with farmers and vendors, delving into the challenges that they face.
According to the Agriculture Ministry, Minister Maria paid careful attention to their concerns, particularly regarding the logistical difficulties of transporting produce from the islands to the capital city. Her visit also included an exploration of the obstacles producers encounter in marketing their goods. Expanding the agricultural sector and fortifying food security are paramount priorities of President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's administration. Minister Maria recently articulated that the administration is formulating comprehensive plans to boost youth participation in agriculture. According to the minister, these initiatives are designed to provide necessary support for young people entering the sector and empower those already involved. President Dr. Muizzu recently announced the establishment of an economic zone dedicated to agricultural development, reflecting the administration's strategic efforts. This project, set to commence this year, represents a significant step towards enhancing national food security, according to the government. In her proactive approach, Minister Maria has been visiting the outer islands to engage with farmers and other stakeholders. According to ministry sources, these visits have been instrumental in understanding the challenges they face and collaboratively discussing viable solutions.
The 2024-2025 academic year concludes with students across Malé and the outer atolls receiving their final report cards and embarking on their year-end holidays.
Schools across the country marked this occasion with vibrant ceremonies where report cards were distributed. This year's end-of-year holiday uniquely coincides with the holy month of Ramadan, adding a special dimension to the celebrations. Recent administrative revisions to the academic calendar set the new academic year to commence on the 7th of April. According to the Ministry of Education's calendar, the first term holiday is scheduled to begin on the 24th of July, followed by the start of the second term on the 10th of August. The academic year will then conclude on the 28th of December. Traditionally, the academic year commenced in January. However, changes prompted by the COVID-19 pandemic led to school closures and subsequent schedule adjustments. By 2021, the administration had moved the start of the academic year to August, leading to school holidays in June and July. These months typically bring rains due to the southwest monsoon, complicating travel to the islands and creating challenges for students, parents, and guardians during the holidays. During the 2023 presidential campaign, concerns about the timing of school holidays were brought to President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's attention. In response, President Dr. Muizzu announced a return to the traditional January start date for the academic year, ensuring that school holidays would once again fall in December. This decision was communicated within the first 100 days of his tenure. Consequently, the academic year is now scheduled to begin in January 2026. The upcoming school holidays will extend from the 28th of December 2025 to the 27th of January 2026, aligning with the December holiday period as previously practiced.
The Maldives Zakat House announces that the collection of Zakat al-Fitr will commence on the first day of Ramadan. Zakat al-Fitr, an obligatory almsgiving for every able Muslim before the conclusion of Ramadan, is intended to enable the impoverished to partake in Eid al-Fitr festivities alongside the broader Muslim community.
The Zakat House confirmed that Zakat contributions will be accepted online starting from the first day of the forthcoming fasting month, continuing until 6 a.m. on 27th of Ramadan. There are 5 platforms available for online Zakat payments: the Diragu mobile application and Diragu Pay website, the Uridu M-Fasa application, the Maldives Islamic Bank mobile application, the Bank of Maldives mobile application, and the FahiPay mobile application, in addition to the Banderi Pay website. The Zakat House has noted that FahiPay and Banderi Pay can be utilized for Zakat payments until the final day of Ramadan. For those unable to access online resources, the Zakat House will establish Zakat collection counters at the Islamic Center to facilitate in-person payments. These counters will also operate during the final 10 days of Ramadan, which will be observed as government holidays following a decision by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu. From the 2nd to the 20th of March, the counters will be open from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and from the 23rd to the 30th of March, they will operate from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. In addition, individuals in the outer islands may make in-person and cash Zakat payments to their respective local councils. The Zakat House has also disclosed the nisab for Zakat. Typically measured in terms of staple foods, the nisab for normal rice is set at $0.78, Thailand white rice at $4.02, and red rice at $5.58. For basmati rice, the nisab is $4.80 for standard basmati rice, $6.49 for higher grade basmati rice, and $8.63 for the highest grade basmati rice. The nisab for normal flour is set at $0.65, while for atta flour it is set at $4.86.
Japan Post Holdings is planning to sell shares in Japan Post Bank, which could total $4 billion in the latest loosening of ties between the businesses.
The two sources and a third person familiar with the plan said that the postal giant, whose shareholders include the Japanese government, plans to reduce its stake below 50%. That would give Japan Post Bank more freedom to do business, as restrictions intended to protect private companies would be relaxed. The sources said that the sale could be decided as soon as this week. Shares in Japan Post Bank fell 4% following the Reuters report.
Released Palestinian prisoners arrive at the European hospital in Khan Yunis where some are set to undergo medical examination.
Released Palestinian prisoner Ayad al-Saudi expressed relief for his release, but emphasized that his joy is incomplete as many others remain imprisoned in difficult conditions. Palestinian prisoners and Israeli hostages have both complained of harsh treatment in the hands of their captors. Hamas handed over the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages while it waited for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners to be released by Israel in return, in an overnight exchange marking the final swap as part of the fragile truce in Gaza. The ceasefire came into effect in January 19 and has largely held, despite numerous setbacks. But its first phase is due to end this week, and the fate of its next phase, which aims to end the war, remains unclear. Hamas said on Thursday that it was ready to start talks on the second phase, and that the only remaining hostages would be freed is through commitment to the ceasefire. After days of impasse, Egyptian mediators on Wednesday secured the handover of the bodies of the final 4 hostages in the deal's first phase, for 620 Palestinians either detained by Israeli forces in Gaza or jailed in Israel. Israel had refused to release prisoners on Saturday after Hamas handed over 6 hostages in a staged ceremony.
Top seed Daniil Medvedev books his spot in the Dubai Tennis Championships quarterfinals following a straight sets win over big serving Frenchman Giovanni Mpetshi Pericard.
The Russian world number 6 broke serve late in each set en route to a 6-4 and 6-4 win, and will next face Talon Griekspoor after the Dutchman saw off 5th Ugo Humbert of France 4-6, 6-3 and 6-2. 4th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas of Greece beat Russia's Karen Khachanov 7-6, 2-6 and 6-4. While Croatian veteran Marin Cilic and Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime will meet each other for a place in the semis following respective victories in the 3 sets against Alexei Popirin of Australia and Portugal's Nuno Borges.
NASA launches a dishwasher-sized satellite into space from Florida to identify where water resides on the moon's surface in places such as the permanently shadowed craters at its poles.
A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, carrying NASA's Lunar Trailblazer orbiter. The Lunar Trailblazer spacecraft was built by Lockheed Martin's LMT and Space Division. The satellite was a secondary payload on board the rocket, with the primary payload being a lunar lander mission led by Intuitive Machines' Lunar.O. The lunar surface is often thought of as arid, but previous measurements have found the presence of some water, even in warmer sunlit locations. In cold and permanently shadowed places at the lunar poles, it has long been hypothesized that there could be significant amounts of water ice. Lunar Trailblazer, which weighs about 440 pounds or 200 kilograms and measures about 11.5 feet or 3.5 meters wide, when its solar panels are fully developed, are being sent to find and map this water on the moon's surface. For future moon exploration, including potential long-term lunar bases staffed by astronauts, lunar water would be of vital importance because it could be processed not only as a drinking supply, but also into breathable oxygen and hydrogen fuel for rockets.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for tuning into PSM News. Goodbye.
For over 30 years, we have been getting stronger and faster. We have been expanding our network across the globe. In the Middle East and Northern Africa,